Today we were supposed to look at games that I played in 2015. However, I couldn't find any. So I don't know what that means. I'm pretty sure I played chess then. So I went to 2016 and I had some games to choose from, but not a lot. And I only found 4 games that were worthy of showing you. I didn't win them all. And 3 of them were against women, which I didn't realize until I was inputting the 4th game. I'm like, wait, these are all women. So basically, you could title this stream Eric Rosen and the Women, since the first game is against Eric Rosen. And one of the women is very good friends with Eric Rosen. I don't know how good, but very good. So, yeah, and so forth. My wife left me in 2016. Congrats. Yeah, and so forth. So, guess we need a marker at some point. Let's see, marker game 1. Okay, these games are all quite long, which is good, I guess, since there's only 4 of them. Okay, so this was played in one of the St. Louis GM tournaments. I think all 4 games were played at the St. Louis club at different GM tournaments. Okay, so I'm black. Eric played bishop f4 because he likes to play London or London type kind of positions. I'm not a theoretician, so I just play whatever move looks reasonable. Okay, so we've transposed into a Pierce. I think Queen D2 is the preferred move by the leading grandmasters. Castle queenside as quickly as possible. But okay, knight f3 is fine. I don't know anything about the Pierce because I don't play it. So I develop my pieces. I don't know. And I played e5, which the engine says is correct. It says white's slightly better. Took en passant, which it doesn't like. And it says after taking en passant that it's equal. It wants him to play bishop g5. Okay. Took with the f pawn. The engine says it's equally good to take either way. Took with the f pawn, I guess, because I want my rook open against his bishop. He played queen d2. Now the engine wants me to play a6 and b5, which is better than what I did. I played knight h5, which isn't terrible. He attacked my queen, and I saw it, and he castled long. So I don't know if it's a weakness or a strength, but it's probably a weakness. If you talk to engines, they'll definitely say it's a weakness. Practically speaking, it probably doesn't matter, but theoretically speaking, I often, when my opponent castles queenside, sacrifice a pawn with b5, usually in closed Benoni's, and I try to get an attack by sacrificing a pawn, and almost always panned by the engine. Terrible. Which is no exception in this case. So the engine wants me to play a6 or queen f7 and says that I'm slightly worse. But I play moves like b5. That's what I do. The engine says that's terrible, and now technically I'm losing. Okay, so he took, and I played rook b8. Bishop a4 is the engine move. He wants to put his bishop on b3. I played rook b4, which the engine says is fine. I guess I'm threatening bishop takes knight and takes this now. So he played bishop b3. And here, The engine says I should play knight a5 or bishop a6, but I played a5. Bishop h6 is recommended by the engine. I develop my bishop. He took, I took back. And it just says he's up a pawn for nothing and he's winning. Now it says he should play e5. He played knight a4, which is a strange move because the knight doesn't really belong on a4. And then he attacked my rook again. And he played knight c5, which the engine does like, because if I take the knight, then he takes here with check, and he has a winning endgame with all my bad pawns. So I played here. e5 is correct. So I'm just down a pawn. I have an open file for a pawn. It's pretty good. And the rest of the game, it just says I have a bad position until I don't. Bishop d5 is correct. b6 is correct. Knight g5 is fine. I played king h8. I don't know why I played king h8. Okay. F3 is correct. I guess if I take his rook, he plays knight e6 check. And by playing the move king h8, I can take his rook now. So he played f3, which the engine agrees with. But that sort of gives away the result of the game when somebody plays f3. And it says he's +3 here. Wants him to play f4 because I'm pinned on the e-pawn here. He took, which it doesn't like, and took my a-pawn. So now he's up 2 pawns. That's why he did that. He's greedy. I kicked his knight. He went back. Takes. Queen e7. Although the engine wants me to take on f3. But those pawns look pretty weak to me. And, okay, so he's up 2 pawns, but his pawns are pretty weak. It doesn't like queen g2, too passive. And now I can try to play queen a2 or get one of my pawns back. He played rook g1, which is the engine move, because now if I do either of the moves that I suggested, then queen g6 check is winning. So he stopped that. I repositioned my knight with knight g7. He repositioned his knight. Knight e6. So I'm still down 2 pawns, but his pawns are wrecked. Unfortunately, in a lot of endgames, he has a passed a pawn that I can't do anything about. So it still says he's like barely winning. Doesn't like h4 very much. Always play king b1. It says he's +1 here, so I'm fighting back. And now it says he's less than +1. Doesn't like that move. Doesn't like c5. Took on f3. So the idea is if he pins my knight, I play knight e2 check, knight d2 check, and I win the exchange. So now I'm only a pawn down. We're in time trouble, of course. I'm not sure if we made time control at move 40 or if it was game 90. I don't know. It was either 40 and 90, game in 30, or game in 90. I don't remember. So either we're still in time trouble or we just made time control. Whichever is funnier. Okay, and that's a mistake. And now it says after queen f4, I'm equal for the first time in the game. Okay, I played queen f2, which now I'm slightly worse. So what's my idea against rook f1? Oh, I take on e3, take on f1, and play rook a1 check. Wow, I used to be good. Look at this trap that I set. If he plays here, oh, this doesn't even win because he has queen d7 check. But this is my idea. And then here. And we both saw that. Although the engine says it's equal if he plays queen d7 check. But of course, I mean, he's down a piece here, but he has perpetual check. But he's definitely not playing for a draw since he's been better or winning the whole game. So he played queen f1, which is correct. I played queen f4, which is correct. Played a4, which the engine doesn't like very much. It hates knight f3, and it says he's winning after queen d3, which he played. Damn. Now it says he's +3 again. Now it says he's +2. It says he should play queen d5 instead. Now he's back to +3. But it's very complicated. Yeah, and here it wants him to take the pawn on c5. Now it says he's only +1. So basically we have the same position, and he has 3 passed pawns and I have 2. But, you know, I mean, you only need to queen 1 pawn, so he's not completely winning. Now it says he's slightly better because, I mean, my queen and my knight are protecting all the squares my pawn can go to. And my pawn's further than his. The extra pawns don't really mean anything, just 2 queens. After knight e3, it says I finally equalized. So in this position, it's very hard to play for either side because I'm also trying to checkmate him and win material, and I'm trying to queen, and he's trying to checkmate me, and he's trying to queen, and so forth. The best move is queen e8 because the engine says so. He played rook d3, and now it says it's actually an equal position. And now he's worse. Now I'm plus 1.4. Yeah, now I'm better because now it's even pawns and his king is in a bad position compared to mine. Okay, and that loses. So that's his losing move. If he plays the correct move, which is either king here or king here, then I'm +2. So maybe I'm still winning. In this position, let me explain why he made a mistake. Obviously, he's in time trouble. So that's the main reason. The other reason is white wants to play rook h8 check. This is a psychological problem that everybody has, but I talk about it a lot, so I try not to have it myself. I'm not saying I don't, but I try. Psychologically, if you're thinking, I'm going to play rook h8 check, so he better stop that, and the only move that stops it is queen f6. So it looks like purely a defensive move, when actually I have a winning threat here. And he would have seen my winning threat if he wasn't threatening rook h8 check. But since he was threatening rook h8 check, he thought queen f6 just stopped it. If he wasn't threatening that, he would question, why did I play queen f6? And he would figure the answer out. But he's in time trouble, so he blundered. Although I didn't know this, because I haven't looked at these games in a million years. The engine says I'm actually winning here. It says I'm plus 2.2. So, I mean, when he blundered, technically he was losing. But, okay. And everybody watching, since I said that was a blunder, should easily see black's move. Of course, you're not in time trouble, and I told you it was a blunder. That makes it easier to see. If you're playing a 5-hour game and you don't have any time on your clock, and you're thinking queen f6 defends rook h8, then you might blunder because knight d5 looks very reasonable. It stops queen b6 check. It attacks the queen. The queen has to stay on h8. So it looks like queen g7 is forced, which is pretty passive. What's funny is I actually have 2 winning moves here, and he should have seen the second one. I understand he missed what I did, but he should have seen knight c6 check. So, I mean, he blundered to 2 winning moves. Knight c6 check is almost equally winning. It says I'm plus 6.5 after this. My move is slightly better. Yeah, queen takes d8, which most of the chat's saying. And he obviously didn't see that. Or he wouldn't have played knight d5. And the game went on, but all right, just him not resigning. Then I sacked my rook because I have mate with my queen and knight. And then he resigned here. If king a1, then queen c1 is mate. If king a3, I can play rook b3 check and queen takes a4 mate. Those moves lose anyway because he's down a rook. So if he takes the rook, then queen c2 check. If king a3, this is mate. And if king a1, then this is mate. So after rook takes b2 check, he resigned. That's the only game I won against a man that I thought was good enough for the stream, and I was still worse or lost the whole game. So that shows you like how I played in 2016. And so